Yeah.
Man, fucking Sven.
Oh no, it's friendly fire. Oh no. Oh man. Hey, this. Where are the stewards? This Sven caused second incident. Give this guy, get him out.
Black flag directly. 90 seconds.
Let's see everything.
This is second incident from him. Put him out. Put a drive-through or something.
Okay, this was fine, but later...
They're ruining whole race.
I think Verstappen pushed him right out. Let's see.
Was magnet tires.
Magnetism.
Bam.
Ah, yeah, it's magnet to be honest.
Look,
be honest,
magnet. Yeah, nothing can do.
Total
I
magnet.
think Verstappen.
Oh, why is he going straight?
No, don't do it. Please, don't do it.
Wait. Why is Sven ahead now?
It's over.
Oh,
It's over.
Do two wrongs make a right. That is the old saying, and well, in this instance, it definitely doesn't. You may have seen over the weekend that Max Verstappen, someone you probably will know, probably the biggest name in F1 at this moment in time for all the right reasons, and is such a big advocate for sim racing and probably the biggest name in sim racing as well. He races for Team Redline when he's doing all the sim racing events, and that was the case here. But he got caught up in a bit of a shitstorm, to be perfectly honest. He has been caught taking someone out, but as you can see here, it's pretty much a revenge punt for something that happened a little bit earlier on. The clip that you've probably seen doing the rounds online is the Race Spot TV coverage, and it doesn't show the initial context. But that's why I say do two wrongs make a right, because initially there's some net code where the cars get stuck together, and Sven, who also has previous of being banned and isn't exactly the squeakiest clean driver on iRacing, obviously feels aggrieved that Max has pushed him out wide and done the, shall we say, the typical Max move that we've seen in previous years. But in this instance, definitely netcode. You can see on the cockpit camera angle that he is turning as far left as he can, and the cars just get stuck together. It happens. Sven then takes that a bit personally and punts Max into Diogo, who is his teammate. And of course, Max feels very aggrieved at this, goes straight on at the end of the Kemmel Straight to get straight behind Sven, and then revenge punts him. Now, do I understand why Max saw red and did what he did? Yes, I get it. Does that mean he's right for doing it? No, none whatsoever. I recently did a video about someone doing this exact thing in the F1 series, doing a revenge punt for something that was nowhere near as kind of obvious as being the first incident from Sven. But what we're seeing here is that this was a sim racing event that, while it wasn't official, it had a lot of prominent names from the esports community, a lot of prominent content creators as well, and it's something that has a lot of eyes on it. To be honest, whenever Max races in sim racing, it has a lot of eyes on it. And I've said it before, esports guys are role models in sim racing, whether they like it or not. And Max Verstappen is a role model, most definitely, not just in F1, but outside of it, and in particular in sim racing. He is such a great ambassador for sim racing. Only just recently, he was quoted in an interview saying sim racing is not a game.
A lot of things going on. I mean, I love my sim racing. Some people think it's just a game, but it's not. And I have a lot of passion in that, and I have a lot of plans for the future to build something around that, to maybe bring sim races to the real world, but in a proper way.
He really does a lot to push sim racing, and we need to tip our caps to him for that, because he is, as we said, arguably the biggest name in F1 at the moment. But what he did is just not on. It's not, guys, and I'm sorry if you defend it. As I said, two wrongs don't make a right. When you're a teenager, maybe that's the way that you think, but not when you get older, and not when you've someone who's arguably got as much experience as he has in real life motor racing and in sim racing in general. He Max has done this kind of in unofficials, like jokingly before, which is another thing entirely. But other drivers have been permanently banned for doing things such as this, especially so publicly as well. Scott Speed, if anyone remembers that name, he did something of the sort very publicly and got banned. Now, will Max get banned for this? No, I don't think he will do. Because of who he is, because he is a big ambassador for sim racing. And the world has kind of changed since Scott Speed got banned. He's obviously not as a prominent name. But just because someone is aggrieved at you and done something like that, the way that you react and the way that you conduct yourself after such an incident goes such a long way to you and to how sim racing is portrayed. There were live stewards in the event as well that was hosted by Pablo, and you can kind of see on Pablo's face at the time, he's like, no, please don't do it, please don't do it, because he's hosted a well-run event there, and unfortunately now all anyone is talking about is not how good that event was, how good the racing was, but talking about one particular incident. And that's never what you want when it comes to being a host of any sort of event, whether it be in real life or virtually, because now that's all anyone's talking about is the negative and just a negative side of the event. But the stewards cracked down on many incidents very quickly, and they would have done so with Sven's incident on Max as well. And Max is a quick enough driver to get to the front of the pack. Now, people will say it's just sim racing. What does it matter? Well, Max quite evidently, as in a recent interview, takes sim racing very seriously, and so do many others. And for a lot of people, their only exposure to sim racing is when Max is racing. So when they see these sort of incidents, they just laugh at sim racing and laugh at what we take so seriously. It will put off potential investment of future sim racing platforms, etc. I don't know. Just in general, its perception is key in many industries, and incidences like this, from its most prominent face at the end of the day, is not doing any good for the sport. I totally get why he did it. I totally see why he saw red. We've all been in sim racing one time or another where we've probably come up against someone who feels aggrieved and has done things a little untoward against you, whether it be hit you from behind or just push you off, run you out of a corner, etc. But there's a way to conduct yourself, and while it wasn't an official race, as I said, it's a shame that this is all anyone is talking about, because it was a great run event, and it was fun to watch as well, but this is all anyone's talking about. And it also does nothing for Max's character either. There's already a lot of critics out there. Just to see that their only exposure to Max, say in sim racing, is this incident, it does nothing for him either. It probably does not a lot of good for Red Bull and all of those sponsors. People have actually lost sponsors from the way that they've conducted themselves in sim racing, in professional events, because it says a lot that you're representing your brand and yourself at all times if you decide to put yourself out there like that. And this is kind of the same thing. People that are defending him, I mean, in the day, you need to be able to acknowledge when people have done wrong. What was done to him initially was wrong, but that doesn't mean that he should go and do what he did as well. Finish it off this video with, once again, guys, just to remind you, 2 wrongs don't make a right, and it's a real shame that this is all that anyone's talking about, because sim racing is only brought into the wider public's eye by negative events, it seems, which is a real shame. Of course, there are Factor 2, Virtual Le Mans, we've had just other incidences, esports, cheating, etc. in the past, and that's not giving off a good perception of sim racing to the wider public, to investors, and least of all, real life motorsports teams. As Max says in the interview, he wants to create a segue between sim racing and real life racing, and look at getting sim racers into real life motorsport drives. If the #1 ambassador for sim racing and for our sport is going and acting out the way he is like this, it's just completely shitting on everything that he's just said, isn't it, really? And very hypocritical, because no one's ever going to take that seriously, especially in real life motorsport. Why are they going to put someone who acts like that into a real life motorsport drive? Of course, Max is already in F1, so it's a bit different, but vice versa, it just makes a mockery that, oh, the biggest name in motorsport goes and does that just after he says it's not a game, and he treats it like he does real life. Wouldn't do that in an F1 car. I mean, he's done some stuff in an F1 car by running people towards the edge of the corners and stuff, but he'd never do something like that. Never. The better solution would have been for him to just let the stewards deal with it, and then he can come out and say, see, sim racing can be live steward and penalties can be dished out just like they can in real life motorsport. There's no reason why sim racing is any different. And personally, that would have been the better outcome for everyone entirely. But hey ho, let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Do you agree with him? Do you disagree with his actions? Do you sympathise? I'm intrigued to hear your thoughts. So yeah, please hit me up in the comments. Remember to hit the like and subscribe button, turn those notifications on, and I'll see you for the next one. Bye.